Try imagine being on a beautiful tropical island. Yeah, something like this. So basically, you're on a vacation. You and your family, resting and not really doing much. So as you're sitting underneath a palm tree, you look up to the sky one day and you're dead. Yes, that's right. This video is about the deadly phenomena that is the falling coconut. A little bit of history first. Now, the consumption of coconut is by no means a new thing. In fact, it can be traced as far back as almost 6,000 years ago to the Austronesian people, who have, over the course of the many centuries, settled much of the Pacific Ocean and even the island of Madagascar, which is mind-boggling. That's basically how they became the ancestors of the modern-day people that inhabit those areas. But this video isn't about them. Instead, it's about these evil little shits. Not a lot of people know or care, but these things are basically serial killers. Time to do the numbers game.
Boom! 2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
Now, just to be clear, I will be comparing the number of deaths caused by falling coconuts when compared to other deadly things. And I will first show statistics for those other things. Number 1. Sharks. According to Google, on an average year, approximately 80 people will be attacked by sharks, but only around 5 to 6 will be killed by them. Number 2. Buses. Now, I could only find the numbers for buses that only say that if you were to walk outside your house and get hit by a bus, you'd get hit in roughly 1 out of nearly 500,000 cases, but the cases in which that hit results in a death are kinda harder to come by. But a roadkill is a roadkill no matter how you look at it. Number 3. Choking. Now, this statistic might surprise someone, but I assure you these numbers are real. Or at the very least, the Google says so. Thousands of choking-related deaths per year, and the worst of them all, that every 5 days or so, a child... Now, I don't know what the statistics say about other countries. I didn't know where to check, didn't really bother to check because, well, at the end of the day, such statistic is very hard to come by, and you know, I'm not getting paid for any of this. Yet. Number 4, as well as the final comparison before the coconut statistics, falling off a ship. Now, as it so turns out, falling off a ship isn't that common, but it does happen from time to time. In all of the statistics that I could find, by simply Googling it, I discovered that only about 200 or so people died over the course of 10 years or so. But it's still just as tragic. A little bit of info drop: if I ever get more money from this YouTube thing, or really any money since I'm currently not getting any, I'm booking myself that Caribbean cruise trip or whatever. But now the info you've all been waiting for. $150! Compared to the number of shark attacks, it's 15 times more. Ah! These things really are like a fucking predator sneaking up on a prey. And it's a really good thing that I use this image for a comparison because, well, if you're underneath a fucking tree apparently, you get killed by a fucking coconut. These things really are just rubbing their hands, lying in wait, and waiting for you to pass by so they can smack you up on the head and splat you. As a matter of fact, why don't we check out some recent history of coconut deaths and whatnot. So it starts off in 2013 with a guy dying when a coconut fell on his head in Sri Lanka, and most of these more or less tend to be, you know, victims that are on the older side when it comes to their age. But the one that really, you know, frightened me a bit was this one down here in 2021 that said that an 11-month-old baby died. The kid was just playing outside of his home when the coconut hit him, and his father tried to rush him to the hospital, but the doctors couldn't really do anything. Rest in peace, little bro. There's also some notable cases that have happened in the last 2 to 3 years. But at the end of the day, those are still the recent ones, which kinda makes me wonder just how long has this been occurring? Like, has it been occurring ever since coconut was, like, consumed and stuff? And also, when was the first reported case? So I just looked it back up on Wikipedia, and this is what I could find. In 1777, some king from the Cook Islands had one of his brides get killed by a green nut. All jokes aside, I wish there was more info since before the times of, slavery and gunpowder on this, but oh well. The biggest problem I found during this research was that there isn't really much data on it and not really much, news coverage on this, probably because they tend to focus on some far bigger things. Also, so far I only talked about people being killed by coconuts when they fall on them, but you can also get food poisoning from the milk of the coconut if it's like infected or if it has some toxins or something, so that's another horror. Now, whenever there is a tragedy, the law usually gets involved, and in this case, it got involved in the land of freedom and lawsuits. Now, nobody actually took a fucking coconut to court. But in 1956, a woman in Miami did sue the city for $300, which in today's money is around $3,500, because a coconut fell on her tree, and she argued that a reasonable man would have noticed that the coconut would turn brown and that somebody needs to take it down. And in 1977, a police officer in Hawaii was given $39,000, or approximately $200,000 in today's money, because a coconut fell on his head while he was doing some cleanup. And in the more recent times, a woman was given $1 million in Hawaii, I'm guessing by the government, because a coconut tree, not the coconut, but the tree, fell on her or something. Not quite the same, but still, the tree of the coconut is part of the coconut if you ask me, it's the same rotten fucking family. But the most perplexing thing, and kind of the most maddening thing to me when it comes to this whole thing, is how there's still, in spite of this, such love given to fucking coconuts and I guess everything that's made with or from them. There is even a song on YouTube called The Cocoa Nut, with a thumbnail with a bunch of cute Asian girls, that has 11 million views. The only thing that's preventing me from raging on any further is that I am, at the end of the day, a professional Asian baddie appraiser and or enjoyer. Now, the chances of you getting hit at the end of the day are very, very, low, and you could argue that all that you need is to just mind where you walk and, wear some protection on your head, but... yeah, fuck all of that. I'm not trusting these death traps. If you ask me, we should just be stuffing them all in a box and sending them off to a lovely vacation resort and retreat where they can do whatever the f*** the coconuts do, I don't know. I get a feeling that if I continue to talk about this, my skin is just gonna boil. So on that note, let me end this video here. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and or commenting and or liking on this video so I can gain more momentum and so YouTube can put this video in other people's algorithm and I can grow my channel and hopefully one day get monetized. I'll be seeing you in the next video and bye.